So the producer, he passed away on the lower Himalayas trail. He was trying to skirmish through the hedgerows of the very flattest lowlands with an eye shot of the lowlands of the Himalayas. You could see the Himalayas on a clear day in the distance, but the producer was hiking through fields, farmers' fields, and plateaus and terraced farmings, and a lot of backyards. The producer burst in upon a lot of other people's barbecues, and the way they party in the Himalayas. They have very cool, spacious, they're flat backyards. Those backyards might flood, you don't know. Their houses are all built on stilts. So even in the low Himalayas. But the producer, we gave him up for dead. All of a sudden, we thought he was dead. We didn't even want to announce it. We heard from the girl writer, she's pining, and she was wondering where he is because even she hasn't heard from him. So then we really thought he was dead because we knew he was in cahoots with this girl the whole time. It's all right, it's a whole other thing. But all of a sudden, underneath our door, whatever you call it, door jam, the door thing where you slide something under the door and it fits between the floor of the carpet and the door. You really shouldn't be able to slide nothing in on somebody. You could slide anthrax in on them or something, or the smallpox. We get a manila envelope, whatever you call them things, an envelope, like a goldish, yellowish, whatever you say. It wasn't manila, it was whatever. It's an envelope, a brown envelope. You open it up, the clasp, the metal clasp, you tear it open. Inside are this week's notes from the producer. He doesn't give a return address, but he says he's been listening. And he implies through ham radio. I don't know if it's what he really is doing, getting a ham radio situation. But he said, this is the text. And so there's no producer. The man is doubling as my producer, in presence, or decamp, my producer decamp. And so he hands me the script cold. He says, it's the best thing we got, so just take care of it. And I look at him like, I can't read that good. And the man looks at me and says, maybe we should get you some dog reading glasses, and that would be good for you. And I was like, yeah, maybe. That would be good. I'm serious. Or maybe, maybe it is my eyesight. Maybe I'm not a dyslexic, idiotic, stupid dog. Maybe it's my eyesight. All right, so what do we got here? So, of course, it's Smelly Melly. But did you know A.K.A. Melvin? Smelly Melvin is something along the lines of a Melvin, a smelly Melvin? I don't know. Melvin. It's a kind of a song, so to speak, in which Melly teams up with Kanye West, and they make a video about a rap song called Mixed Personalities. And what we're talking about here is a la Herschel Walker. Hypertension and mixed personalities, a la John Allen Amos Jr. You know who I'm talking about. John Allen Amos Jr. James Evans Sr. from Good Times. My man. He died on the show of hypertension. If Melly or Melvin and Kanye West are singing about their schizophrenic, bipolar, heinous, horrible, viciously demented, tortured existence, which that's okay. That's where the art comes from. So it's all right. It doesn't even matter. But if they're talking mixed personalities, Melvin and Ye wise, you got to go back to Herschel Walker. And when I think of Herschel Walker and his definite mixed personalities, I always think of James Evans from Good Times and the fact that they wrote James out by saying he died of hypertension. James from Good Times died of hypertension. James Evans Sr., But Melvin's got issues like the lady sang one time. Remember when she sang about, I've got issues, you've got issues, I've got them too, whatever. So Melvin's got some issues. And that's all right. The one thing that I was happy about is at least Kanye West made some cameos. All right? And then when you hear this Melvin guy talk, you're like, Melvin, is that James Evans? Is that James Evans? No. Try James Brown. Because you're talking about a soulful, mournful metrosexual. Like Melvin is a metrosexual a la Little Richard. You know the Little Richard of whom I speak. Richard Wayne Pennyman. Pennyman made it to 87 years old. The master creator of Tutti Frutti and Long Tall Sally. You know, Little Richard was born and formed and influenced and informed by Macon, Georgia in 1932. Try that one on for size. Circa Macon, Georgia, 1932. Talk about being born into purgatory. It's a whatever. But you've got Street Melvin, drug-induced, can't put Melvin away Melvin. Melvin is a conjured presence, Melvin, and that's something that you want to stay away from anyway. So, whatever. Poor Melly. This guy, I don't know. That's the best I could wade through. That was like, they should call that take one of a take two that never occurred, because that's all I can do. That was like wading through quicksand. Nice notes, the man. I hope, you and the producer, I want to see what's going to be in the next top secret, slid under the door sill, brown envelope, handwritten out bullshit artistry. That would be beautiful for everybody.